Hi, guys. Welcome to yoga. My name is Mandy Joy, and it's a pleasure to be your guide. Let's begin by coming down to child's pose. So, bringing the knees as wide as you need, the big toes come together, sink the hips back towards the heels, walk the fingers out towards the top edge of the mat, and allow the heart and the forehead to melt down towards the mat as well. Start to notice your breath, your inhalations, and your exhalations. Doing your best to smooth your breath out. Noticing your body in this shape. Scanning from the toes all the way up to the fingertips. And from the fingertips back down towards the toes. Let's take a big breath in through our nose and a breath out the mouth. On your next inhale, gently rise to table shape, bringing the knees somewhat underneath the hips, the palms spread wide on the mat. And while you're here, let's find a few rounds of cat and cow. So we'll drop our belly down, our gaze will lift towards the sky. Exhale, round the back, pin the belly button to the spine, coming into cat. Cow pose, inhale, drop the belly, gaze lifts. Pull your belly button in towards the spine, round the back, finding cat pose. Nice. And just kind of move through this 3 more times. If there's any other movements you want to add in, feel free. So if that's swaying the hips from left to right, finding circles the torso, or simply continuing with the traditional cat-cow, whatever you choose is all right. Nice, and then we'll find stillness here. And then we'll shift our hips back to child's pose. So sending the hips back towards the heels, walking the palms out towards the top edge of the mat, sinking the heart and the forehead back down. Noticing this child's pose from the first child's pose that you landed in. Do you feel any different? Or does it feel more or less the same? On your next inhale, you will lift up and we're going to take the right arm and thread it underneath the left, coming onto that shoulder, really reaching towards the left. Keeping the breath smooth here. On your next inhale, go ahead and unthread the arm. And we'll take the left hand this time and thread it underneath the right, really reaching towards the right and then coming down on that shoulder. Keeping the breath nice and smooth. On your next inhale, gently lift. Extend both hands back up towards the top edge of the mat. Take one more round of breath. And as you exhale, rise into table. Nice. We'll find a few rounds of cat and cow one final time here. Inhale, drop the belly down, lift the gaze. Exhale, round the back, pin the belly button to the spine. Inhale, drop the belly down, lift the gaze. Exhale, round the back, pin the belly button to the spine. Final round, drop your belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, round the back, pin the belly button to the spine. Nice. And then we'll find stillness here. All right, tuck your toes. Press into the palms, lift the knees off the mat for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lower. Nice. Take a breath in, take a breath out. We'll do that again. Tuck the toes, inhale, lift the knees. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower. Nice. Breath in. And breath out. Final time here, tuck your toes. Pull the belly button in towards the spine. Lift the knees. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Nice. And start to feel the dog first before you start to pedal in. And then start to pedal the dog by bending one knee, extending the opposite foot towards the mat. Feel the stretch down the back of the hamstrings. And then switch, bending the other knee now and extending the opposite leg to the mat. And then just keep switching back and forth, really feeling into the backs of the legs, noticing what you notice here, keeping the belly drawing up and in, and the breath smooth. Nice. Go ahead and find pause here. Take a breath in, big breath out. Bring your big toes together. Inhale, right toes lift high to the sky. Exhale, draw through, step the foot, in between the hands, and drop the back knee. Nice. If you have blocks handy, grab onto the blocks, and then press your way up just slightly. Nice. Heel toe those feet just a little bit further forward, and then dip into the hips here, allowing the heart to lean and shine towards the front of the room. Nice. Avoiding dipping or dumping into the hips. So you want to pull the belly button back towards the spine to create a little bit more strength here. You may feel a sensation in the front of the quad on the left side, and you may not. Take a breath here. Breath out. Breath in. Breath out. Breath in. Breath out. And from here, extend that front knee, coming into this runner's lunge here. Pulling the right leg back towards the right hip. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Breath in. Breath out. Last breath in. Last breath out. Slowly bend back into the front knee. Big breath in. Exhale, straighten that leg. Nice. Inhale, bend back into that front knee. Exhale, straighten back out. Final time, dip forward. Exhale, straighten. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and bend back into that front knee. Move your blocks out to the side. And then heel toe the foot out to the right edge of the mat, moving into lizard lunge. So bringing both blocks into the inside of the right leg. I like to use my blocks as a little bit of a stand. I'll bring my forearms down to the blocks here. And then I'll allow myself to feel this nice deep hip opening shape. Keep the breath smooth. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. If you feel secure in your base and you have the space, maybe you allow your right knee to move over towards the right. So you're coming onto the outer edge of the right foot. Just ensure your ankle and your knee are in line. We'll take one more round of breath. Exhale it out. Then slowly start to bring that sole of the foot back onto the mat, and then we'll move towards pigeon pose. Continue to heel toe that right foot over to the left side of the mat, coming down on to that front knee, And then extending the left leg behind you. Pigeon is not my favorite, but I'm here because the stretch is beautiful. And if you have the space and you want to come down, feel free to come down. Or if you want to stay lifted, feel free to stay lifted. If you have any space underneath the right hip, maybe you bring your block and kind of wedge it underneath just to give you a little support. If you have a blanket, you can roll it and bring it underneath that hip as well. We'll take 5 more rounds of breath here. The last round. If you have any support underneath the right hip, go ahead and remove that. Tuck the left toes, shift yourself back downward facing dog. Pedal out the dog, finding any other stretch you might need that might feel really good to you at this moment. Right now, for me, downward facing dog feels good. And when you're ready, we'll find stillness here. Take a breath in, breath out. Big toes together. Inhale, left toes, reach high to the sky, and then step it through between the hands. Drop the back knee down. Sweet. Bring your blocks back to frame the foot. Maybe heel toe the foot forward a little bit, and then hinge forward into the hips. Nice. Adjusting your blocks so you feel very comfortable. Take a breath in. A breath out. Nice. Pulling the belly button back towards the spine. Pulling the left hip back, right hip forward. Take 1 more round of breath. Exhale, extend, coming back into this runner's lunge. So you're straightening out the front leg, keeping a micro bend in that knee, so don't lock it out. Isometrically pulling the left hip back into its socket. And so essentially what that does is help you stay in the middle of the mat. If that doesn't feel good to you, again, adjust. 1 more round of breath here. Exhale it out. Nice. Bend back into that front knee, dipping down. Exhale, straighten out that front leg. Then we'll inhale, we'll shift back forward. And then exhale, we'll extend. Inhale, shift forward. And hold here. Breath in. Breath out. Nice. And shift that leg back 1 final time here. Big breath in. Big breath out. Nice. Coming back forward. And then moving the blocks out of the way, heel toeing the left foot out to the outer edge of the mat, bringing both blocks to the inside of the left leg. Bringing the forearm down to the block. And then kind of hanging out here for a while. Lizard pose. If you feel grounded in the base and you have the space, Feel free to rock on to the outer edge of the left foot, keeping the knee and the ankle in line. Staying in tune with your breath. Noticing the differences on this side from the other. We'll take one more round of breath here. And when you're ready, gently rock back onto the sole of the foot. Press yourself up. Heel toe the feet back towards the center of the mat. Place your blocks off to the side. Tuck the right toes. Shift back, downward facing dog. Pedaling out the dog. Really working into the backs of the legs and getting any kind of release you need. Whatever that might look like. So if you need to lift the leg and find some circles, feel free to do that. I offer the time for you to figure out what your body might need because you live there, not me. All right, let's take one more round of breath here. Exhale it out. Nice. And then we'll shift forward to plank pose. Drop the knees down. We're going to cross the ankles behind us and just kind of roll over our feet. If that didn't work out for you, just come to a seat. Doesn't matter how you get there. And extend the legs straight out in front of you. And so bring the palms beside you just to kind of help lift you up and find a more comfortable place where you can feel your sit bones beneath you. And then point and flex in the feet. Maybe find some rotation in the ankles. Spread the toes wide and bring them back together. Again, pointing and flexing in the toes. All right, so let's find a straight leg forward fold. And so first to begin though, let's bend the knees just a little bit. All right. And then sit up nice and tall, taking the hands up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold over your legs. It doesn't matter how far you go. There's no end result here. We just want you to be able to fold forward. Now, if you can relax the knees, feel free to relax the knees, keeping the breath smooth. Find whichever version of this works best for you. One more round of breath. Exhale, slowly release. And then we'll come onto our back. So bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet towards the earth, scoot the hips down, and then make your way onto your back. Maybe take a full body stretch here so the toes extend forward towards the front of the mat while the arms will extend back behind you towards the back of the mat. Nice, and take a moment to just release and relax and feel the support that is beneath you. On your next inhale, draw the knees in towards the chest, giving yourself a nice, great big hug, rocking from side to side to further massage the low back. Shoulders are relaxing down. Keep the breath smooth. This not only massages the low back, but it also massages some of your organs. As you rock from side to side, you may find that your knees are also moving. Maybe you take the knees in circles and then find any other version of this that feels good for you. And then we'll find stillness. Draw the soles of the feet down towards the mat. As you take your next inhale, lift the hips up slightly. Shift the hips towards the right. And then rest it back down the mat and allow the knees to fall towards the left hand side. If this feels good, stay here. Maybe you take the left hand and allow it to add a little tension onto the left knee. And then the right arm goes out to a T and the gaze heads in that direction as well. If keeping the hands on the knees is not necessarily working for you, feel free to extend it out to a T as well, adjusting the knees as you see fit to ensure that you can rest and relax on the mat. And one more round of breath. Let it go. Slowly draw everything back towards the center. Press into the feet and lift the hips. Shift them over to the left hand side this time. Set it back down. And then the knees fall towards the right hand side. The right hand will come on top of the knees to help provide some traction if that feels good. The left hand comes out to the side and the gaze follows as well. And so again, if this feels good, stay here. If you like to bring the left arm out to a T as well, find that. And make any adjustments with the knees that might serve you well. And then take one more round of breath. Slowly start to bring everything back towards the midline. The knees come back in towards the chest for a hug. And then we'll extend the toes straight up towards the ceiling. Maybe point and flex the toes. Find some circles with the ankles. And then we'll find happy baby by grabbing into the outer arches or the inner arches of the feet and kind of rocking from side to side like a happy baby. If you find that your low back is not fully supported, take your peace sign fingers, grab onto the big toes to allow the remainder of your back to find its way to the mat. And then just enjoy this shape of happy baby, rocking from side to side. Maybe finding stillness if that feels good. Shoulders are resting down towards the mat. Breath remains smooth. Take one more round of breath. And as you exhale, draw the knees in for this final hug. And if I said it before, I was just kidding. And draw the forehead towards the knees, curling up into a ball squeeze. And then release, coming into your final resting shape of Shavasana. Shavasana is a place where there's no muscle activation, no movement. You can draw your arms down by your sides, allow the toes to fall out. Keep the palms facing up for a more receiving mode, or turn them down if you want to ground just a little more. Let's take a few moments of rest, allowing our practice to absorb and wash over us as we find rest. Shavasana. Start to notice your breath here, your inhalations and your exhalations, and seeing if you can lengthen your breath a couple more seconds on the inhale and a couple more seconds on the exhale. Begin to bring micro movements to the body by wiggling the fingers, the toes, circling the wrists and the ankles, and then gently drawing the knees into the chest, and then allowing them to fall over to either the right or the left hand side of your mat. As you turn yourself towards that direction and use the top hand to help press you up into a comfortable seat. Once you arrive, taking just a moment for yourself, and then when you're ready, pull the palms towards the heart. Let's take a breath in together and a breath out together. Give yourself a lot of gratitude and thanks for stepping onto your mat and joining this beautiful session. Hope you have a wonderful evening, day, wherever you might find yourself. And until next time.